welcome to Band Chat. My name is Bonnie, and I am the lead vocals for Innocence Torn.
And I am James Freeman. I play lead guitar, and I'll shut up.
And thank you guys so much for joining us tonight. This is the very first episode. We're really excited to introduce you to our very first guest. This is Brent Hensley. He is the front guy for Leader-1, and they're out of Portland, Oregon. And thank you so much for joining us tonight.
So happy to be with you guys. Of course, you guys are great personal friends. I love to help chase the dream, of course. So love supporting your guys' band, and it's great to feel that from you guys.
We appreciate that. So tonight, we're going to talk about. So this is basically what people think being in a band is like, and we're going to talk about what the reality of that is. So can you tell me for yourself, how people just don't pop off one day and join a band? So how and what's your experience with that?
So for me personally, I started singing karaoke, and when I was received well at karaoke a few times, I decided that maybe I should try to pursue, writing my own music, and that's when I started seeking out musicians and kind of started that career.
Was that a difficult process to find other musicians?
There wasn't a lot available outside of social networking and that sort of stuff, which is, a lot more than there would have been available, say, like even 20 years ago. So the advent of social networking has greatly increased the ability to gather information about your community very, very quickly. So that was nice. That's how I kind of got tied in, was, looking at some groups, looking for a musician, local musician wanted ad pages, that kind of things. So
OnlyFans, Pornhub. I get it.
Yeah.
So, how in the process, you kind of have to get with people of your same personality. But in my experience, that doesn't happen very often. So you definitely have to deal with different personalities and different influences. How has that affected you?
Well, it seems like life in general seems to go a little bit better if you're more kind of like accepting that your idea of what the perfect finished product looks like isn't necessarily what the finished product looks like. So the more you're to relinquish the control of that and the need to be the one that's calling the shots of how things go, and just kind of go with it and let the song or the album or the band itself just kind of flow into its own natural state, instead of saying, let's make this be this way. Just get the musicians together, work your magic, and see what happens. And if you like it, keep doing it. And if you don't, work something else. Your first shit should be your worst shit.
I agree with that. So, so that, there's a level of commitment there. It's not like you can just jump right in a band and then poof, here we are. We have music. Let's get on stage. So kind of explain that in your perspective.
Sure. Commitment to a band starts with commitment to an instrument. And if you're not regularly rehearsing or practicing that instrument, whether it's singing or guitar, drums, whatever it is, people who are musicians seem to want to play with other people who are musicians. It seems to ignite something within us when somebody's vibing with something that we're working on, and it sounds great and layered together. It's really beautiful and really exciting. And I feel like the main thing is that when you come to see music, it's different than when you're on stage playing it, because when you're playing it, you're more like getting lost in the moment and the wonder of this song that you're making in itself, and just kind of losing yourself for it. But, when you're an audience member, people live their boring, mundane lives Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, just like everyone else. But if you're able to take them out of that, even for 3 minutes, you're onto something.
I have to agree with you on that. And I also think that people think that, all of a sudden we have all these people that can just load you up and you get ready for stage. And I don't think people really realize what that actually looks like. For me, it's an entire day of getting everything loaded up, getting myself done, sharing a bathroom with this guy, travel time.
Well, I require it a lot.
And then you happen to be there at a specific time, and then you load your shit in if you're lucky to be able to do that, and then you sit and wait. And you wait and you wait and you wait. What's your experience with that as well?
I haven't noticed that as much with like loading in because it's only been local shows. Like we've all been home the same night that we've done all the shows we've done up to this point. So my experience with that with you guys, like when we went to Los Angeles, that was an example of like when we got to be in the green rooms and all that with you.
What's it like being with a band with a married couple? Hit the censor button.
Honestly, I look at everybody's love story as their own path and their own journey, and I'm excited when I see a couple that believes in their dream and believes in what they're doing and their movement, and no matter what the opposition is, you guys are down for each other. So it's definitely commendable to be friends with you guys specifically, and everybody's just going through life trying to do the best they can with what they've got, and if we all just work on it together, we might be able to achieve something great. It just takes a lot of little efforts.
Another question too. Do you think it's more important to have members in your band with exceptional talent, or do you think it's more important to gel as like a family? Because the bigger the band is and the more time, and when you do start traveling, you're going to be with them a lot, like more than you would be with like regular family members, and it can be taxing. So I mean, I think everyone's got different views. What do you think is what's important?
I think having someone that's committed to the project that you're working on and dedicated to that time slot, because a lot can be said about a person who shows up every week. That being said, the better you are at your instrument, the better you are going to bring out the good qualities of the musicianship of your friends that you're playing with as well. So it's not all about just being the star, being the center of the stage, or hey, this is my solo, so I step forward and do my thing, and then I step back. It's not so robotic as that. It's supposed to be something that you're not doing this because you're making a buku bucks off of it. You love this, and you live for this, and you breathe for this, and you bleed for this. So why not get up there like you're having the best time of your life, whether someone else is killing it or it's your turn? It's all about like what you want to get from it, what your intention is, what you're trying to bring to it, and what you're trying to receive.
That is pretty great perspective. Just a little bit of a backstory, just to let you know, Brent was so gracious and went down to Hollywood, California with us when we played Go Go. And
Huge help.
And it was like a major, major help for us, but even more so, like it really gave perspective of what
his wife also.
Yes.
Hey,
oh my God, Johnny.
Help with
Johnny
yes.
Yep.
My God, she's
help
amazing.
with merch and kept things together and green room and all kinds of stuff.
I mean, that was a really big production, and it really took.
We got to meet some really great people and got to have quite an adventure with you guys, and we got to step into some rock and roll Hall of Fame type places.
Yeah.
We hung the Rainbow Room 2 nights in a row and the Whiskey 2 nights in a row, and that's stuff that people might probably don't even care about because there's like this. The generation that I'm in and the generation before, we're kind of becoming complacent and not really having a whole lot to care about. And anytime you care about something, there's someone to say, hey, that sucks. You shouldn't care about this.
True.
So, so having a passion for something, for anything that makes you feel alive, I guess that's what I was kind of saying about being a musician earlier, is like a painter doesn't use one color over the whole canvas in one stroke. They use that one color to accent just that one thing to bring the painting to life that way. You can't have just the one move.
Right.
You gotta be an artist. That's why they call it artistry,
Instead of the one shot trick pony.
Yeah.
Musicians out there, like you can see the prefab, they got their one little bag of tricks and then they play it to death. And then you've got the real musicians out there, and the audience feels it because music it's not just a painting, it's an emotion, and when it's real, it's real, you can grab things out of a bag, like you said, that's just going to be like that little bit of color or whatever. The rest is just spiritual.
Exactly.
So
right.
Let's get him to talk about his new project.
Yes, absolutely. I'd love to hear about Leader-1. You are a phenomenal musician and singer yourself, so I know this project is going to be amazing. But yes, please tell
I'm
everybody.
just going to pop in real quick and say you're not metal unless you're doing a podcast of silk boxers. See, I only look metal from This is called.
You don't even have to have fancy band chat.
Monster,
So, yeah.
drink of choice.
We need sponsorship. We're saying. Anyway, tell us about Leader-1.
So yeah, Leader-1 is an amalgamation of two bands, Conflict Radio and Despite Trying, and we picked up a fifth band as well. So we have Gabe playing guitar from Conflict Radio, and Mark and Chris, the bass player and drummer from Conflict Radio, playing with me, who was the singer for Despite Trying previously, and we picked up this guy Thomas, who also has some solo music on Spotify. He's a really, really amazing musician. He's a great drummer. He's also a drummer in a punk band, local band in town as well. So we have some really great people around us right now, and the direction that the band is going, we're all very, very excited about it. We've been working on writing some new tunes, and we're kind of feeling it out, and we're still in that place where we're like, we haven't recorded anything yet, but we have a set list. We have 45 minutes ready to go. That's aces all the way across the board. So we're about to, take that leap into, the next stages here. But yeah, we're very excited to be playing. We're playing on Dante's on the 9th this Friday. We'll be opening for some other bands there. Yeah, music's at 8:30.
Nice.
Wow. And that's kind of like a big leap to go from like boom straight into Dante's.
Right.
Dante's is actually a pretty big venue over in Portland, Oregon. For those of you guys who are watching, it's kind of really great stage, sound. But some pretty legendary people have actually played there, and so it's kind of like our little mecca here. So kind of a big deal. Besides, Dante's and that, what are your goals moving forward?
So after we start recording some music, we're gonna pick maybe 2 or 3 and try to do a video or 2. Try to organize some things and get it together. We definitely want to do our album. We're still figuring out how we're gonna do that and where and when and all that. But we've been spending most of the time the last 6 months keeping our heads down, writing the music, learning it real well, making sure we're in sync with each other, and just learning all the separate parts. And yeah, it's really fun to play for people who haven't heard us and just see them just like kind of starry-eyed and just, wow, that is amazing. So yeah, it's a lot of fun.
That's amazing, actually. Being in a band, you were talking about, recording and the videos and all that. And I don't think people realize how expensive this actually is. You spend, thousands and thousands of dollars just do what you need to do to get yourself, between merch, CDs, and videos. I do want to tell you that you kind of enlightened me a couple of years back. You was thinking, I was like, man, there's got to be a better way. And you were like, oh, well, let me show you this video. You picked up the phone and you were like, yeah, we did this on our phone. And I'm like, you did what?
Yeah, right.
I was actually really, really impressed, not only by, you guys, would never know.
Quality.
Never know. The quality was absolutely amazing. So kind of tell me a little bit about that, and then let's talk about how expensive this really is.
So I don't have much to say in the way of that. We're very fortunate to have some friends in the local area who had music recording, capabilities, and they helped us. So a lot of free to cheap help, right? And we tried to like give back to our friends or support their shows or show up to their venues when it was their turn. Just everything we could do to like support them and thank them for their help, of course. But yeah, we actually started purchasing our own equipment so that we could start recording ourselves in the band room, just so we can have like a simple demo, or if it sounded real good and all our takes were like exactly perfect, maybe we would put out some kind of EP or something away. But we're still kind of like weighing it out between doing it all ourselves or just going somewhere and having them take care of all of that, because even though it is a lot of money, that's a big weight to take off of our own shoulders.
Right.
It really is.
And there is a difference too. It's kind of like when we do like our own recording stuff here, there's just certain things and certain equipment you can't
We spent all the time learning our instruments, not learning how to sound perfect on a record. And there
Right.
is somebody whose job that is. Who
Well,
did do
and you go into the
that.
studio and they got $100,000 recording equipment,
Right.
or $1,000 speakers that are flawless.
Exactly.
Human ear can only pick up so much, and the average musician, if you've got that kind of money, it's probably going into your instruments,
Yeah.
as opposed to probably, you might have a R24 track or this or that, where you can do some great recordings, really good recordings, So I mean, I've heard stuff that, well, I mean, the Beatles, for instance, they had like a crappy little 4-track, and they put out some great shit with it. So I mean, it can be done, but like you said, it is a lot of work.
Well, I mean, and then just hand in hand with that, we don't. I think people think that you make a lot of money being in a band. You really, really don't. I mean, you can,
but
what
it takes a lot of commitment and time and being in the right place. It takes an element of luck will fall into your face if you keep grinding at it. So
I mean, for us, it's our merch actually makes more money than we do, but I mean that's even expensive. You know what I mean? It's you work a 9 to 5 just to be in a band. That's the facts. You know what I mean? It's and that's where the passion and drive comes in. But
Right.
just having those expenses, it can limit you to specific things. That you in order to move you forward. You have to have an EPK. You know what I'm saying? You have to have a demo. You got to have, you know what I mean? That you just have to have things to move forward.
you have to have
organized enough as a group to be able to provide somebody with that. It's a lot more complicated than I'll show up once a week and we do practice and it's all that you ever see of me.
Right.
If that's all you want it to be, then that's all it's going to be.
Right. Agreed. So, why don't you tell everybody how they can find Leader-1 online? Well, while Brent is doing that, we'll go ahead and go to. Today's podcast badassery comes to you from Innocence Torn's brand new EP, Ride or Die. 4 brand new tracks, 2 remastered favorites. You guys aren't going to want to miss this. You can download it anywhere you can download music. Go get it now.
We have some songs that are more soft. We have some that are more like heavy, more metal, more energy, high energy, and then we have
2 different albums. Honestly,
exactly.
If you got that big of a difference, look at bands like Pantera, they put out like that acoustic one. You're like,
exactly. So we're gonna do probably 4 or 5 that are our like first 5. Our first album is gonna be like our mellow stuff, and then our second album is really gonna kick ass.
Cool.
Yeah, I think that's really important nowadays. I think everybody thinks you have to like be in a genre and stick to it, and we've actually found quite the opposite. We're like way out here, and then we go way blue, and then
I would say you can go too far. I've seen bands where they Extreme, when they were huge for a minute back in like the late '80s, early '90s, and they put out 3 sides every story, and they went so eclectic. I think unless you were a musician, you didn't get it. So there is a fine line, and I guess only you as a band can figure out what risk you want to take, because it seems like every band over time kind of develops a signature sound. I mean, Aerosmith or Zeppelin Classic, even though their sounds are similar, that's not what I'm getting. I'm getting at they have, you hear them 30 seconds and you're like, them. And every band develops that over time, It's
Carlos
off that platform, people go, I don't like it, so.
It's like Carlos Santana. Like you heard the song before, and when it's Carlos Santana.
Like every solo sounds like that. Well, didn't I hear that? Yeah. He's got that. Yep.
And when you have that signature tone, I mean, that's kind of the goal, right? Is to have something so household and recognizable that people are like, dude, I know the person that made that come to life.
Then they can play it on the radio 24/7, like. I Want to Rock and Roll All Night by Kiss, where when it comes on the radio, you just like.
Yeah, I mean, there is something to be said about, oversaturation for sure. Absolutely.
Well, they were forerunners. They were freaking your grandma out when she.
Totally. Hey, I remember being on a wooden piece of plywood with hay bales, dressed up in girl clothes from Goodwill, dressed up like Kiss, taking light bulbs and breaking them with a 45 record, lip syncing before lip syncing was a thing with stars, to my neighbor's parents, and it was all kiss.
You're the coolest kid at school, James, no doubt.
Well, I was in trouble a lot, so there's a price for cool, I guess. I don't know.
So,
You might not be in a rock and roll band if that wasn't your start, though.
Yeah, maybe.
so tell me,
That was my passion. So.
tell me one of the funniest things that's ever happened to you being in a band.
Funny. I mean, not too much. We're pretty serious. We're pretty stoic, man. We're pretty chill. We're just like real mellow. Our drummer Chris, he's kind of a spaz, and that's fun. So as far as drummers go, there's a band of musicians, and then they have a pet drummer. So
How is the drummer? I swear.
I don't know. My band's we're all a bunch of, we're funny. Yeah, we got issues, so.
we're waiting for those adventures still to come, and we're looking forward to all of that.
Oh, yeah.
We're excited about it. Once we get on the road and start exploring some, scenes outside of our hometown, we'll definitely have,
It's gonna get bored.
we got to create the opportunities for that to kind of happen naturally, and we're all really fired up and looking forward to it. So, before too long.
Yep.
As far as where you can find us, we're on Instagram, we're on Facebook, just Leader-1. And as soon as we have music recorded and have it available for your consumption, of course, Bonnie and James will be among the first to know.
Thank you.
We'll plug it out there for you.
Of course.
We've got let's see, April 18th,
Sure
and
is.
13th, I'm sorry, at Heavy Metal Brewing Company, and you guys
Yeah.
are is that May 18th?
Yeah, May 18th
Bridge
at Bridge City Sessions. That's correct.
Yes. So, guys, put that on your calendar. Make sure you get yourselves out to see Leader-1. I've had a hell of a time talking to you. Thank you so much for joining us today, because, I mean, you just swooped right in and kind of saved the day on that one. So, I really appreciate it. But do you have any advice for people out there? Anything you could say to encourage somebody their dream?
There's no traffic in your own lane, so keeping that in mind, it's okay to try out different.
Whatever you mean.
So find what you're
That was
gonna
good.
do, and be open to the creative process. Your idea of it might not be exactly perfect, especially if you're already in a group. If you're not in a group and you want to be, make an effort, make a try, take a chance. And if it doesn't work out, don't be so hard on yourself about it. Just say, hey, they're making room for the people that are right for this opportunity.
I agree with
I
that.
think every band knows of the scenarios like that. Yes, great.
There's just so many differences. There are so many differences with bands.
Well,
Yeah, so
all
many
these
things that are
artists,
universal about our experiences and about our goals and our dreams and that sort of thing. So I completely understand that. Well, Brent, thank you so much for joining us today. We hope that we wish you the best of luck. We'll definitely see you at one of your next shows. And yeah, man, we really appreciate you. Thanks for being such a good friend. And
all the help you've done.
yeah, my God.
So much in the back, behind the scenes with more than one show, several shows.
Yeah, and that's just it too. I like to say, before we go, that I think the one thing is it takes an entire village to raise a band.
It does.
It is like you just
And it takes a network,
Yeah, it really
we all
takes a
kind
lot
of
people
we all
to effort.
step off of each other, well, even and it's not even just metal. I mean, the hip hop community or any artist situations that work, they do it as a gang.
Yeah.
And that's how it works.
Well,
so we all feed off each other.
definitely family. We hope to see you at Thanksgiving this year. Thanksgiving is an annual. You have you get together with your relatives for Thanksgiving, and we do the same. And then we get together with our family, which is our band family and all the people in bands all over our specific area, and kind of just bring together to be grateful for each other and everything we do.
I love it. We got to put it on the calendar.
Yes, definitely. All right, my dear. Thank you so much. We will talk to you soon.
Leader-1.
Wow, thanks for hanging out tonight. Next week we've got Enar Anderson. Boom! Beautiful skeletons. You're not going to want to miss this. Like, subscribe. Let's go!